Hi everybody, David here with Cartoon Fortress. There has been a lot of anticipation leading up to this day, being able to film this video. There's been a lot of rumors circulating around the collecting community. And what is the event that I'm talking about? Well, it is the Barnes & Noble Criterion 50% off sale. And guess what? It starts today, July 10th, 2020. Alright, so I was able to get to my Barnes & Noble this morning and wanted to get this video up as soon as possible to give you some more ideas of what you might be able to pick up during this Criterion sale. So again, today is July 10th, 2020. This sale is going to extend through August 2nd. So we have a little less than a month, we'll call it 3 weeks, to shop titles at that 50% off mark. Now the other thing to note is that if you're a Barnes & Noble member, if you pay your $25 or so per year, then you do get an additional 10% off. So these come in at essentially 60% off the sticker price of, for the standard releases, it's going to be $39.99. So marked down with the discounts and membership discounts, all of that. Standard titles come in at about $18. And box sets range anywhere from about $40 and up. So it's a great time, especially to get box sets if there's any that you're after. Now, my haul from today, there's not any box sets, but there is a digipack release, one that I've been anticipating for quite some time. It's a 3-film set, and we'll get to that here in a minute. But I just want to show you what I picked up. This isn't going to be an unboxing video. This is more just going to be a show and tell, as I have not seen any of these films in particular, but they're titles that I've been anticipating, and these are all going to be, all of these are going to be newer releases. So everything here has been released within this year. Maybe some of these were the end of last year of 2019, but at any rate, these are all recent releases to the collection and ones that I've been anticipating for a while. So what are the titles? Let's go ahead and get to that right now. So the first title that I have here, this might be the most anticipated title for this sale. There's been so much lead up to this release, and again, this is not a film that I've seen, but it's one that I'm ready to see. Well, might take a little bit of a little bit more time to kind of emotionally get ready to watch it, but this is from 1985, and this is Come and See. So this is a film out of Russia, and it's from 1985. The runtime is 142 minutes, and this is probably, the reason I say this is maybe the most anticipated title, this is probably the title prior to release that I heard talked about the most within the Criterion groups and kind of community that I'm a part of. Anytime, members were guessing upcoming releases or anything like that, it was always come and see, gotta vote, come and see, come and see. So I'm really excited to have this. There are some great extra features to look forward to on this. It does sport a new 2K digital restoration with uncompressed monorail soundtrack, new interviews, and a lot. I don't want to get into all of the special features here, but there's a lot to get into. So this is, from what I hear, the most kind of piercing anti-war drama, anti-war film ever made. So it's going to be interesting to watch. Again, this is one that you'll probably want to just emotionally prepare for, from what I've heard, but Come and See from 1985. All right, now the next one, This is also a war film, but this is more of an adventure take on war. And from what I understand, this isn't war isn't necessarily the focus of this particular film, but this has an all-star cast. We have Steve McQueen, James Garner, Richard Attenborough. This is from 1963, and this is The Great Escape. Now, this has a longer running time on it. This is about 3 hours long. And yeah, from 1963, just an all-star cast. Again, a plethora of extra features to get to on this disc as well. So maybe if you're not in the mood for a heavy war film like Come and See, this might be a good alternative, more of an adventure, kind of a prison escape type film. So The Great Escape. All right, next up we have a silent film. This is from 1928. This is a Buster Keaton film. I've really been getting into the works of Buster Keaton. I've bought a couple of box sets, and I have a third coming that I have on pre-order, sets from Eureka. Their Masters of Cinema collection. They've been doing some wonderful restoration work on the works of Buster Keaton, and I'm glad to see that Criterion picked this title up. I've heard amazing things. Again, this is from 1928. This is The Cameraman. And this comes in at a runtime of 69 minutes and is, of course, in black and white and silent, and a lot of great extra features to get into here. One that I am really excited for, in fact, the feature that I'm most excited for on here is the Motion Picture Camera, a 1979 documentary. I kind of read up a little bit on this when Criterion announced that this film would be released, and I was just immediately interested in that specific supplement. So I look forward to getting into that. I'll probably watch that straight away after I watch the film. And there's a nice, what looks to be a large booklet in here, so I'm sure there's lots of great reading to be had as well. So The Cameraman from 1928. Next up, we have another film that I've been anticipating the release of since they announced it. I was very excited. I'm a big fan of 50s sci-fi, and this fits right into that category. This is from 1953, The War of the Worlds. Now, probably the extra feature that I'm most excited for on this one is it includes the Mercury Theater on-the-air radio play of The War of the Worlds from 1938, adapted by Howard Koch and directed and narrated by none other than Orson Welles. That sounds absolutely wonderful. Something to kick back and relax and listen to. Nothing to watch, obviously, as it is a radio adaptation, and it just sounds like a really, really neat extra feature. So, War of the Worlds. In fact, yesterday, I really like the 50s sci-fi type movies, and just yesterday I watched the Quatermass Experiment. If that's not one that you've seen, that comes highly recommended. It's another really fun movie from that time, and has kind of a horror aspect to it, but it was just a really fun watch. That title is available through Kino Lorber if you're interested in picking that up. But here we have War of the Worlds from 1953. All right, next up we have a director. In fact, the next two titles are from this director, one of my favorite directors of all time, but I haven't seen very much of his filmography. My favorite film from him, and the man that I'm talking about here is Sidney Lumet. My favorite film by Sidney Lumet is 12 Angry Men, and in particular, the performance of Henry Fonda in that film is really striking. If you haven't had a chance to watch that, I did recommend it in a video that I just put up in the last 2 or 3 videos, one of my recommendation videos. 12 Angry Men is an absolutely stellar release, and I'm really excited to get into this one as well. This is directed by Sidney Lumet from 1964, so this is 7 years after 12 Angry Men, and this is Failsafe. This has got a great supporting cast as well. We have Walter Matthau in here as well, which he is one of my favorites. I hope one day Criterion is able to get the rights to release The Odd Couple with Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon. That would be an absolute dream come true as far as a comedy title to be added to the collection, but that's beside the point. Very excited to get into this. I've heard many wonderful things, and I'm really excited to continue my exploration of the filmography of Sidney Lumet. And if you're interested in maybe some more talk about the films of Sidney Lumet, my good friend and a great friend of the Criterion community, Daisuke Betbu, did an interview with another friend of the community, who's Cinema Dave Media, I believe is the name of his channel. But him and Dave, I've followed Dave for quite a while now, and as well as Daisuke, and they're two great members of the community, and they have a lot to say. So I guess Dave is a big fan of the films of Sidney Lumet, so they had a recent conversation, which I think they might even have more conversations to follow on his films. So that's some great follow-up too if you want to hear more about Sidney Lumet. But really excited to get into Failsafe. And then the other Sidney Lumet film that I picked up stars Marlon Brando, Anna Magnani, and Joanne Woodward. This is from 1960, so this is between 12 Angry Men and Failsafe, and this is The Fugitive Kind, based on a play by Tennessee Williams. I'm really excited to watch this. I love the stage play adaptation feel. I know there's some more recent watches, like maybe like Sidney Poitier in A Raisin in the Sun. I love the feel where the sets, it feels like a stage, like we're watching a stage play just adapted to film, almost straight off of the stage. And one thing that Daisuke and Dave were talking about in reference to the films of Sidney Lumet is that he likes working in confined spaces, and he most certainly does that in 12 Angry Men. And from what I understand, from what they were talking about, this is kind of a similar situation. So obviously a great cast here, and really excited to see what I think of this one, as well as Failsafe, and kind of how those fit into my rankings of his films, of the films of Lumet. So The Fugitive Kind, and some great extra features here as well. Some interviews as recently as 2009. Oh, in fact, there's a program from 2010 discussing the works of the works of Tennessee Williams in Hollywood, and yeah, so some really great extras to get into. And then there's what looks to be one of the fold out pamphlets in here, or booklets in here. Anyways, so this is The Fugitive Kind. All right, we've got 3 titles left. The next one is from Wim Wenders, whose work I'm getting into. I have a long ways to go. I've seen Alice in the Cities, which prompted me to buy the box set, the Road Trilogy, which Criterion has available. So I'm newer to his work. So I've seen Alice in the Cities, which I absolutely loved, and then the second film from him that I saw, which is one of my favorite releases in the Criterion collection, is Paris, Texas. That's an absolutely outstanding film. I can't say enough good things about that. So those are two, granted I haven't seen a lot of his films, but they seem they're very accessible works. Now this one seems very very intriguing. I'm not sure what to think about this, but there's been a lot of positive buzz about it in the community, and so I went ahead and did a blind buy. Yes, this is available on the Criterion channel if you want to screen it beforehand, and I'm kind of funny about this type of thing. It's sometimes I like to go into a film and just really commit myself, so I won't pre-screen it. I do the blind buy thing and just really commit myself to the purchase and to exploring what the film has to offer, as well as the extra features. But this is Until the End of the World. This is from 1991, and this has a very large runtime of 287 minutes and a lot of extra features to get into, as well as, I can tell from the weight of this set, a large booklet inside. So I'm very intrigued by this, very excited to watch this. Obviously, you have to carve out quite a bit of time to be able to sit down and watch this in one sitting, or I guess you could break it up in a couple of sittings. But this is in English, French, and German with English subtitles. So there's a mix of languages, but the subtitles are included, obviously. So yeah, really looking forward to this. Now to get a little bit more lighthearted, we switch over to a Western, and more specifically a Western comedy. And this stars one of my favorite actors of all time, Jimmy Stewart, or as he's named here on the cover, James Stewart, and Marlene Dietrich. I never knew this film existed until Criterion announced it. I'm a big fan of Westerns, but this seems to be unique within that category. And this is directed by George Marshall. This is from 1939, and this is Destree Rides Again. I don't know how you can go wrong with Jimmy Stewart. I really don't think you can. So this is definitely a safe, or feels like a very safe blind buy for me. And again, you know, Westerns, Jimmy Stewart, I'm all in. So Destree Rides Again. All right, now the final set here, this is a very unique set. And again, I'm not going to do an unboxing here in this particular video, but I'm sure there's other unboxing videos on YouTube that you can check out, and I would advise doing so because it's a really neat style of packaging that Criterion has employed here. It's deluxe limited edition pop-up Blu-ray packaging, and this is a 3-film set by filmmaker Karel Zeman, and this set is titled 3 Fantastic Journeys by Karel Zeman. This includes a Journey to the Beginning of Time, Invention for Destruction, and the fabulous Baron Munchausen. Now, this is another one that I've heard a lot of people in the community talking about. Again, going to Daisuke's channel, he had some great comments on this, and also Nathan Jones. I'll link his channel. I'll link his and Daisuke's and Cinema Dave in the description below. But yeah, Nathan was another one that I remember talking about this. I think he said as a kid he remembered watching Journey to the Beginning of Time. Yeah, so you can go watch and listen to their comments. Nathan is another one that has just a really excellent channel. He does regular collection updates and has some great thoughts on a lot of different films, including the Criterion Collection, but most certainly outside of the Criterion Collection as well. Anyways, really looking forward to unboxing this one and getting into these films. And needless to say, especially since we have 3 films in this set, there's a lot of extra features to get to. Now, this is a great time to get this set because in my case, with the Barnes & Noble membership discount as well, this came to be $40. So you do the math on that. It's an excellent deal to get this right now. So I would bump this to the top of your list from what I've seen, these look like very unique, kind of a mix of animation and live action. But it doesn't look to be standard animation. It's very stylistic and seems right up my alley. I'm a huge fan of animation, and although this is not a straight up animated piece or straight up animated films, any step that Criterion takes towards releasing anything animated is promising in my mind. That's something that I feel like Criterion would really benefit from, is opening themselves up and the collection up to more animated titles. But that's a discussion for another time. For now, I'm really excited that we have these films in the collection, and these are ones I'm going to be jumping into very, very soon. So that is the titles. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 titles that I picked up today. And there is, I'll go ahead and hint at this, I'm sure especially those in the community know what I'm talking about, but there's a big box set coming out on July 14th, this coming Tuesday, that I'm very much looking forward to unboxing, and I will be doing an unboxing of that one on the channel. So stay tuned. Sometime next week I will get that filmed. I don't have the set in yet, so once I get that in, I'll get the unboxing filmed and get that up on the channel. But some very promising things coming from Criterion, as always. It's basically you'll become a broken record very quickly if you say that, because Criterion just continues to do stellar work, just like they have been for so many years. So I'm really excited that this sale at Barnes & Noble did end up happening. It is a bit more abbreviated from what we're used to. Usually we have a full month, and it even bleeds over into just over a month. But we have 3 weeks to be able to go and pick the titles that we want, and I would highly advise doing so. Definitely don't break the bank. I mean, stay within whatever means you have. I had to put down a few titles that I'm hoping maybe possibly over the next few weeks that this sale is on, maybe being able to pick them up. But there's just some titles that you'll have to put back so you don't break the bank. But anyways, definitely let me know in the comments down below if you're planning on picking up any titles from the sale. I know I've been talking with a lot of you in the collecting community, and it seems like, or it doesn't seem like, there are a lot of excited people about this sale. So very happy that it ended up happening with the climate of everything with COVID and the shelter at home or shelter in place policies, and it felt really nice to have something like this to look forward to get out and feel a little bit normal, go do something that we're used to doing, and I love interacting with the community, especially during this time that the sale's happening. So by all means, please let me know what you're picking up during the sale. Also, if you're interested, usually I talk about subscribing to the channel, which I definitely invite you to do so. If you found this video helpful in any way, definitely hit that subscribe button. But if you are on Letterboxd, or if that's something that you find interesting, by all means, go and add me on Letterboxd. I'm on there under the same name, Cartoon Fortress, and I log most of what I'm seeing goes on there in my log or diary, whatever they call it on that app. But that's a fun way to interact with the community, to kind of see what we're all watching, and it's a great way to have conversations with one another. And but if that's something that you are interested in, definitely add me at Cartoon Fortress. So we'll go ahead and end it there. Very exciting times that we're in. Really happy this is happening, and stay tuned, like I said, next week for more Criterion content, and specifically with this mystery box set that I will be unboxing on the channel. And until then, this is David signing off with Cartoon Fortress, and I hope you have a wonderful day and happy Criterion shopping.